What is up, guys? Welcome to Diving Garage. In today's video, we're continuing on our $500 budget build challenge, this 283 small block Chevy. Now it's time to work on the deck, and today we're going to find out if you can use common things you have laying around your garage, figure out which one of them is flat that you can use to actually surface the deck, and which ones aren't. And the results might surprise you, so let's dive in. All right, so what I did here was I went around the garage. I got some things that should be flat. I know one of them is, two might be. And what we're going to do is check each one of these and see how flat they are and if they're suitable for using some sandpaper to resurface your engine block. Now you might be wondering, how in the world am I going to know if one of these is flat? Some of them look flat, some of them look not flat. Which one of these would you trust? Well, what we're going to be using is this, call it what you want. You can call it a straight edge, you can call it a flatness checker. It doesn't really matter. This thing is precision ground within 1 thou of perfectly flat. And so it's pretty easy. All we got to do is lay this on top of each one of these things and figure out which one's flat. So let's go check them out. All right, let's start off with what I would think is the most likely candidate. So all we're going to be doing here is we're getting our, like I said, we get our flatness checker. Just going to lay it on top. And all right, well, you could do the light test. You can get a light, shine it behind there. But honestly, that doesn't really tell you anything. What we're going to be using is this feeler gauge here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but that is 2 thou. There you go. So this is the smallest one I've seen available. If you've seen one that's a smaller size, feel free to comment below. But I mean, this is pretty dang good. Within 2 thou, that's pretty flat. So all we got to do here is just get it on there and see if it slips between the surface. So I got a little bit going on there. A little bit. Oh, all right, we're starting to get way up in there now. So look, there's got one low spot right here. All right, pretty flat through here. And then we're kind of going. Okay, well, you know what? This isn't too bad. And I expected this to be pretty good because this level has a machined surface like a lot of levels do. And I expected it to be pretty good. The only issue I'm seeing is that it's wavy. You have some areas where I can sort of get this in there, and then it's flat, so where I can't get this in there at all. I'm actually pushing the checker off. And some areas where I can get way in there. Like, look at that. So, I mean, you could go through the feeler gauges and flip through and see which one accurately fits in there, fits nice, but there's no point. We already know this is wave, so this is out automatically. What you don't want to do is sand a wave into the top of your engine block. So this one's done. Next up is an interesting one. This is a honing stone, sharpening stone for knives. Now, obviously this one is very used. I'm just kind of doing it as an example. You can see in the camera, big old wave in there. This is very used and abused. But the side that's not used is this side right here. So I'm just kind of curious to see if this is even close. Because people have said they bought these new and used them once and it was good to go. So let's just see if this brand new untouched side is flat. Ooh. Nope. I'm gonna go with a big no on that one. So again, this one is used, but I've never used this side of it right there. You can see right here, this is the side I have used. So I don't know. People have said they bought these and they're super flat, but I don't know. I don't think I would ever do this method. Next up, we have just a random piece of steel I found in my scrap pile. You would think that these would be nice and straight to use for, this was a piece of something. Almost looks like a piece of a toolbox or something, but you would assume this would be nice and straight, nice and strong, right? Let's check it out. Got our feeler gauge here. And we're not gonna go in the section where there's holes, obviously. All right, that's a big no. All right, we got some resistance there. And then looks like we're getting loose again, yep. And you guys can see for yourself when it goes through and when it doesn't. I mean, there's nothing I'm not fooling you here. There's nothing that I can really do to change the outcome of this. It is what it is. In some sections it's tight, some sections it's loose. So it's just not flat, it's wavy. Let's try another one. I thought this one would be kind of interesting to include. It's just a piece of structural steel used for all kinds of stuff, from hanging road signs to any sort of construction. But I just kind of thought I'd be curious if you could take one of these and sand your engine block with it. And I think that's already a no. I felt that, and you can feel it wobbling. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there is a high point right in the middle. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see how it's high right here? And everything else is just flipping right through. Oh, look at the low spot right there. Yeah, that's a negative. This one is a bit used and abused. I don't know if a brand new one would be straight. I kind of doubt it still, but I thought it'd be good to check anyway. Now this one here is probably my favorite candidate because this is something you can go buy any hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, whatever. And if it's nice and flat, you could definitely use this. This is a piece of that like shelving, you know, that white shelving you can put up on the brackets. Now let's see, I'm gonna check this in a few places since it's kind of big. If I can balance this sucker. There we go. And I kind of hope this one works. Let's see. All right, well, if it's uniform, I guess that's fine, right? Oh, I'm getting a tight spot. Yeah, I got a tight spot again. Yeah. Okay, so from about here to there, it's nice and flat. So maybe the good thing about this is that you can check it in a bunch of different places. You can check it this way too. Maybe, that feels okay. All right, a little loose over here. Maybe you could find a section of this that's nice and flat. You could start marking it out, finding the highs and the low spots. And you could cut it up and see maybe there's a section that's big enough that would work here. But if you were just to grab this off the shelf and start going to town with it, I don't know that would be the best idea. So let's see. I did just buy this from the store, by the way. This is not used or not been sitting around. Let's check it diagonally. There we go. It's real high right here in this section, then it tightens back up. Yeah, it's wavy. You can't see it, and I'm gonna go into a way that you can see it when we actually start sanding the engine block. Yeah, a bit tight over here. So it kind of seems like it's low in the middle and tight on the edges. But man, I really wanted that one to work because that would have been the probably most convenient one. All right, now this is what I use that really made some people angry. It's this sheet of, I guess, finished plywood I had used for a different project. And when I checked this initially, it was pretty good. It was nice and flat. What I'm expecting now is that it's worn some since I've used it. You can actually kind of see some grooves in here and some divots where it was digging into the engine block, doing what it's supposed to do, you know. But again, it's wood, so it's not very strong. It's not going to withhold that edge. So let's see what we got here. Again, we've just got our same feeler gauge. All right, not too bad. All right, we got one random low spot there. Overall, not too bad. Let's check this in a couple places. Balance. All right, well, a couple little low spot there. Yeah, we got a little low spot here. And then it gets tightened again. So in this section here, a little bit of a low spot. Check over there. Oh, balance. Okay, overall, really not too bad. I'm surprised it held up. And really, I could probably use this again, but I probably won't. I got another thing I want to try. One more thing I'm going to show you as an option, and something else I want to try. But I think what happened here is that the wood itself wasn't flat, but then when I put the finish and then the clear coat on, and it sort of self-leveled. I think that was the ticket here. I don't know that for sure. Let me know what you think if that's what it was. But that's really what I'm thinking. It wasn't the wood itself, it was the finish and the top coat that really evened things out and self-leveled a bit. And because of that, it came out to a nice flat surface. But yeah, it worked once. I don't know if you can really tell on the video, but it's a little dinged up now. And yeah, there you go. There's a good angle. It's kind of dinged up, and there's some long score marks on it. So I'm not going to use this again. One more option that's pretty popular to use is some sort of plate glass. And this here is obviously a chessboard, but I just wanted to show you, I'm not going to be using this in this video, but I just wanted to show you that Some plate glass, I would say a lot of it, is nice and flat. Like you can see there, it's pretty good. Try to do it where I can show you. If you see the feeler gauge bending like that, that means it's hitting it and it's nice and flat. If it doesn't bend and goes through, then that's how you know there's a low spot. Like here, see how it doesn't go through like that? But then over here, it sort of bends and stops. But yeah, that's another option for you. There's nothing wrong with using plate glass. If you can get some thicker plate glass, like from a glass store or something, that would work really well too. So this here is actually what I'm going to be using in this video. Now let me adjust your angle here a little bit. This is a piece of hardwood. This is called Purple Heart. Very beautiful piece of wood. When I was back into woodworking a while back, I loved using this stuff as trim and accents. But I found this in my pile of scrap, and I started kind of poking around at it, and it's pretty good. And the reason I'm going to use this instead of that other piece of wood is because it's thicker and heavier. And so this way, I can really make sure not to put any sort of downward pressure on there, and I can just slide it. That's what I was doing before, but again, people had some serious issues when they saw me sliding that piece of wood around. And again, as you just saw there, this thing is nice and flat. So this is what I'm going to be using for this demonstration. What do you think? Was the one that you picked, you predicted to be flat, actually flat, or was it not? There's a bunch of different options in here, a bunch of different things you could do. But no matter what, the point of this is you need to get yourself one of these. If you're thinking about doing this, and not only for finding flat things to sand with, but once you're done doing that, then you can use this with the same feeler gauge on the deck. You can check it in various locations. Make sure you do it at crisscross ways, different places along the deck there. When I did this in that short, I just put it right here, just again, because I got less than, I don't know, what, 3 minutes. That short was only like 90 seconds, and I just checked it along here real quick, and about 1,000 people said I should do it in different ways. Don't worry, guys, I'm tracking. Again, it was just for the quick video. But yeah, check it on the top, bottom, middle, crossways, all different kind of ways you can imagine. Most important areas are here in between the cylinders. That's where your fire rings and your head gasket are. Probably least important areas are down here on the shoulders, up here in these corners here. But again, you want to make sure that you have a nice flat deck. And then once you have it nice and shiny, you think you're done, put this on there, get a marker, and just mark locations that you think are too low or too high. And that way you can know exactly what you're dealing with. And that way if you do end up just sending it, like most of us do, you know why. You know it blew here because I know I had a low spot there. Or it blew here because I know I had a high spot there. And you know what's going on with your engine. Once again, the point is get this tool. This is what you need. If you want to get the one that I'm using, I'll put a link in the description below. Yeah, I get a little commission off the sales. That's not really the point of this. There are a ton more of these out there. That's just the one I picked, and it works just fine. All right, now that we've got our material picked out for the what the sandpaper is going to go onto, next thing is we need to get these dowel pins out. And I'm going to skip the drama and go right for the puller. And to do that, it's pretty easy. There's like a sleeve or a collar that goes right on there. This is a 5/16 collar for a 5/16 dowel pin. And then this little guy goes on top. I don't know if hammering it's super required. I just thought that would be good, so I went for it. And you got this guy. It's like a double-ended stud. You put this down, and then we're going to tighten this down pretty good. And we'll continue on with the big section. All right, then we got a crescent wrench, and this is a 3/4 inch socket wrench here, and just make it nice and snug. There we go. That should do it right there. Then grab the big section, big spacer, throw that on, and then the remaining hardware. We got a washer and a nut. It also comes with this little spacer. I don't really know why you would need that. This works just fine, but maybe there's a situation you would. And it's pretty easy. And just tighten her down. And because you grabbed on with that collar, it should come right out. And there we go. No drama. All right, and then I got a lot of questions too on, well, how do you get it out now? So you just go in the reverse. So undo the nut down here, put this wrench away. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the vise, grab onto it in these flat sections here, and then loosen up this nut, and then it'll come right out. I know it is a little tough to get out of there, but if you got a vise, it's really not a big deal. And so now you do that, then you can see, do I have my hammer? A little tap like that. Oh man, did you see any of that? Sorry. I just tapped it with my hammer like that from the bottom. Now this collar is loose, and this thing should come right out. So you can reuse this if you want. I'm not going to, but you can if you want. Same process over here. All right, so now that we've done all that, we're ready to actually get to the sanding. A lot of prep, I know. If you're going to ask about what sandpaper to use, this is cast iron. So I'm going to start off with some 100. I probably won't do too many strokes with that. Maybe let's call it 10. And what that's going to do is get rid of all the crazy high spots, all the junk. These are sacrificial. I'm going to use a sheet of 100 and a sheet of 180 on each side. So you're going to go through some packs, but I mean these are what, $5 each. So for $10 probably you can flatten the deck yourself. It's pretty good. The only other thing I did was I took a flat razor blade, scraped it off, just kind of give it a quick wipe down. You don't need to use any chemicals or any brake clean or any of that mess. You don't got to worry about that. But now we're ready. So we can get the sandpaper, put it on whatever you're going to use, and go to town. And for your viewing pleasure, what I'm going to do is once I have the metal brightened up a bit, I'm going to get some green layout fluid, and I'm going to color all over. So you can see as we're sanding along where the high spots are, where the low spots are, and it'll be a little bit better visual for you. Rather than, I wouldn't do this myself. This is a good method to do also for cylinder heads too, if you're curious how those are looking. It's just a Sharpie. You can get the die chem if you want, but it's no different, not at all. So save yourself the $20. Okay, now we are ready. So what I like to do is I like to get on the engine stand. Whoa. I like to get on the engine stand just so that way you're, to me, it's easier this way because I'm not standing on the ground pushing down on this. All I'm really doing is gliding this forward and back. And this piece is pretty big, but with the sandpaper, you just want to make sure you're getting coverage all the way from up here to down there, which we are. Probably do it that way, make sure we got it. And then also we can hold it on the sides here. And you might pinch yourself, but you'll live, I promise. So just go for it. Again, we're not pushing down. I can't show you that I'm not pushing down. It might look like it on camera, but I promise I'm not. There we go. All right, let's try this way. I'm getting some interference there. Let's try it like this. There we go. Just find a nice smooth motion. So like I said, don't push down. All we're doing is gliding this forward and back. That's all we're doing. Okay, and you can already start to tell the spots that have brightened up and the spots that have not yet. And the spots that it's touching, obviously high spots, spots it's not, it's obviously low spots. I'm going to keep going a little bit more, and again, I'll get that Sharpie and I'll color on here so it's a little bit easier to see. Once we get farther along, you won't be able to see much this way. All right, looks like we got a pretty major low spot right here, and a lot of this stuff is cleaning up really good already. Another cool benefit is you get to see the casting number up here too. So this is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and Sharpie it and then swap over to the 180. And just after some quick passes, you can see a bunch of dirt and muck in the sandpaper. If you keep going, they'll keep getting filled up. So just sacrifice the sandpaper. It's not a big deal. It's $5 for a whole pack of it, so it's all good. Okay, how does that pick up on camera? Not the best. Let me change your angle here. All right, I got you moved in pretty close here. Now you should be able to see the crazy Sharpie everywhere. And I'll do this for a little bit just so you can get an up close view, and then I'll move you back. All right, let's take a look after just that quick sand. There's some random like little spots. Like here, could use some more work. This section here is still real low. And yeah, there's just some random little spots of this kind of section here. But overall, this is really in decent shape. You want to keep going. You're looking for a sort of uniform finish. Doing this method, you're not going to get machine shop fresh. We can't cheat like we did with the cylinder bores. But it should still look really good. Like, you should look at this and be happy with it. If you don't look at it and be happy with it, keep going. Let me see down here, a little low spot there. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. All right, I've been going for about, I don't know, 5-7 minutes. Let's swipe this down, see what we're going with. One thing I will say is that when you're doing this, it should feel flat. You can actually feel quite a bit of flatness just with your hands without even a gauge. All right, so there's some sections that are just staining, there's some sections that are not. So let's come down here where you can see where the head gasket goes. Oh, focus. Where the head gasket goes, comes up and around. So this section right here, from about right there to right there, don't worry about it. As you can see, the head doesn't go there, head gasket doesn't go there. So it's all good. You can see a little bit of an outline where the head gasket goes still. So if you have something outside of that, like in this case here, I think you're good to go. Otherwise, this thing is cleaning up really nice. We still have a little bit of sections that could probably use a little bit more sanding, and I'll do that. But again, it should feel nice and flat. It should feel good. Yeah, and then of course, as you're sanding, make sure you're getting all the way up here, because your cylinder head goes all the way up here. And then once you're done, once you do the other side, what I like to do too is get the same setup and go across here and go across here just for a little while until they clean up, so you know they're nice and touched up. Okay, and I'm going to call this good to go. I did a bit more sanding. I got a new sheet of 180 and just kept going back and forth. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. But my feelings don't really matter here. Let's see if it's flat. All right, so we got our straight edge, flatness checker, whatever you want to call it. Let me rotate the engine a bit so it's a little more straight. Okay, got the engine a little more straight up and down now. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's grab our feeler gauge. And again, we're going to kind of check everywhere. So let's see here. All right. All right. Good. Good. Good there. All right. Okay. I'm going to move it down just a bit. And then just check these spots in between the cylinders. Good there. Good there. Good there. Yep. All right. Let's go down to the bottom, and then we'll check it diagonally. Oh yeah. It's going really good. Okay, that way seems to be pretty nice. Check it this way here. That went through there because there's a bolt hole there. Yep, looking solid that way, and then this way. All right, guys. I mean, that is probably as flat as we're gonna get it. Again, so this is a 2 thou feeler gauge with our precision straight edge flatness checker, whatever you want to call it. And I can't get this 2 thou in between the block and the gauge. So I'm gonna call that flat enough. And if you're curious on how much we were taking off, or if we're taking off too much, don't worry. If you can see this, these are only about, I'm gonna call it 1.5 thou or 2 thou deep. And really, if you can see those, you haven't taken out much of anything. All right, guys, that's the process. Real quick note about just this channel and what I'm about. That my main deal here is learning, sharing methods with you, sharing what knowledge I do have, because there are, for every one person that knows exactly what they're doing, there's probably 100,000 people that are clueless. The reason I started this channel is because I was always helping my friends out with their cars, helping random people out with their cars. And it just really was apparent to me that people get in these cars all day, every day, drive them, road trip them, whatever, but they don't have a single clue on how these things actually work. So I try to break it down real simple, real easy. But as always, if you don't understand something, you have a legit question, constructive criticism is fine. Drop it down in the comment section below. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you learned something. I hope this was helpful to you. And if it was, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get out there and dive in your next project. Catch you next time.